From Diddy.
That's why I don't be going to the puffy parties. Hug you from the front and the back at the same time.
He says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying. It's like fruity.
To Meek Mill.
Meek is in the same shirt. In the same shirt. Obviously was not offended by what I was offended by. He wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway.
6ix9ine.
Does this mean 6ix9ine is gay? Does this mean my son is gay? Does this mean my child is gay?
And even Jay-Z.
I look and I go, oh, that's your big homie, right? And so you image yourself after a gay painter. The big homie want to look like a gay painter.
Here are some of the rappers 50 Cent has accused of being gay. Starting with Jay-Z. 50 Cent has long targeted Jay-Z, and their feud peaked during Super Bowl 56 in 2022. The historic all-hip-hop halftime show, led by Dr. Dre, featured Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and a surprise appearance from 50 Cent. But behind the scenes, there was some serious drama. On an episode of Drink Champs featuring Snoop Dogg, Nore revealed that Eminem almost backed out of the show unless 50 Cent was allowed to perform.
Eminem called directly for 50. And he said, that's his guy. He said, I can't do it if I can't break 50 up.
That's when 50 found out that Jay-Z had allegedly been opposed to him being part of the performance. And let's just say, 50 didn't take that lightly.
Like when Nore he had communication. He said, yeah, I talked to the big homie. He was saying, told Jay, he was telling me, you know, the white boy wouldn't do the truth without 50.
He wasted no time firing shots at Hove. One of the first things he did was accuse Jay-Z of trying too hard to be like the legendary artist Jean-Michel Basquiat by copying his hairstyle. He also took a jab at Jay-Z's sexuality.
You image yourself after a gay painter. The big homie want to look like a gay painter.
What are we talking about here?
We're talking about Basquiat. He wants to look like a gay painter.
And it wasn't the first time 50 had gone at Jay-Z. He's been coming for him for years. And it's obvious there's no love lost between them. If there's any opportunity to clown Jay, 50 is right there, waiting.
Everybody was saying Jay-Z was taking a shot at you.
And I didn't take it that way, because if we looked at all of the numbers, you see I did his career in 4 years.
A perfect example was when Jay-Z's name got caught up in the whole Diddy situation. The second people started speculating about Jay-Z's connection to Diddy's allegations, 50 was one of the first to start trolling.
New lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like,
to us, black excellence,
that had to be there.
We getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand.
It's the billionaire brunch.
Oh,
like,
I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you this year.
He went all in, posting jokes about Jay-Z's situation and even questioning whether the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, which Jay-Z's Rock Nation has been producing since 2020, was even going to happen.
This is on your
put that up.
Yeah, this is on 50? Yeah, it says I don't know what's going on, but are we still going to have the Super Bowl? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know?
And when asked why he's always inserting himself into these kinds of situations, 50 gave the most 50 Cent answer ever.
Why do you not insert yourself, but you're on top of every topic, right?
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm participating. I'm being part of culture.
Another rapper who's felt 50's trolling firsthand was 6ix9ine. Now, at one point, 50 and Tekashi had a father-son type relationship. 50 even used to refer to him as his son in interviews. But that relationship died the moment 6ix9ine became a snitch. As soon as 6ix9ine turned informant, 50 completely washed his hands.
Has 6ix9ine reached out to you from jail?
No, I haven't spoken to him.
Really? Would you answer?
Yeah, no. No.
You wouldn't even be caring.
That was your son, Fifth.
Yeah, I know, but this is his mother's child now.
Of him, but that didn't mean the trolling stopped. At some point, 6ix9ine randomly decided to fire shots at 50 for no reason. And even though 50 was in Europe at that time, busy with his tour, he still made time to respond. He clapped back with a video where he straight up called 6ix9ine gay.
My son has on a sparkling jacket. He has a sparkling jacket, like Puffy. And he says he no longer wants to be the king of New York. Oh, man. Does this mean 6ix9ine is gay? Does this mean my son is gay?
Not one to back down, Tekashi returned fire with an IG video of his own. In classic 6ix9ine fashion, he mocked 50 by recreating his iconic "In the Club" video in the most hilarious way possible. Now, if there's one person 50 Cent has never let up on, it's Diddy, and he's been calling out Diddy long before he became the disgraced mogul we see today. One of the earliest moments happened all the way back in 2003 at Chris Lighty's wedding. According to 50, Diddy made him a super weird offer. He told 50 he wanted to take him on a shopping spree.
That's the kind of stuff that when people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. He said something to me one time, a long time ago, at Chris Lighty's wedding. He told me to take me shopping.
Now, for most people, that might sound harmless, but not to 50. He was so thrown off by it that he said he had to walk away before he did something he might regret.
I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You gonna make me mess up the wedding.
But that wasn't the only time 50 got weird vibes from Diddy. During a concert in Europe, 50 took some time out to explain why he stopped going to Diddy's famous all-white parties.
That's why I don't be going to the puffy parties. Hug you from the front and the back at the same time? What are you talking about?
According to 50, instead of having a good time, he just felt uncomfortable, like the whole thing had a weird energy.
Look, if you into that, I'm fine with it. To each his own. I'm just saying this shit, my motherfucking kind of party. You know, like, it's uncomfortable.
And after Diddy's whole situation got exposed, as expected, 50 didn't just double down, he tripled his trolling. Next up is The Game. For a long time now, there's been this standing rumor that The Game was a male stripper before he got into the rap game. For years, people have talked about it, and at one point, a photo even surfaced showing him wearing what looked like a thong. Naturally, The Game went on the defensive, swearing up and down that the photo was fake and photoshopped. Even went as far as claiming that 50 Cent was behind it, trying to tarnish his image during their beef.
Somebody put my head on a stripper's body, bro. Like, and I want to say it was 50, bro.
But as much as The Game tried to deny it, people who knew him started speaking out. One of the most damning confirmations came from The Game's own stepfather, Hodari Sababu. In a documentary about the history of hip-hop in Compton, California, Sababu shared some details about The Game's past that The Game himself probably wishes had stayed buried. According to Sababu, he and The Game's mother used to run a male exotic dance club. The idea behind the club was to give guys fresh out of jail a way to make money. Many of these men were buff from working out in prison, but because of their criminal records, they couldn't easily find jobs. Sababu explained that the club was a way for these guys to make a living, and some of them could make up to $1,000 a week dancing.
Me and Game's mom, we started a male exotic club. What we used to do, we used to get guys that's just come fresh out of jail. A lot of these guys can't go and fill out an application and get a job, but hey, if they look good, they've been working out, we put them on, man. We get them, we get them $1,000 a week dancing.
Here's where it gets interesting. Sababu revealed that The Game, whose real name is Jason Taylor, danced at the club maybe twice. Sababu even acknowledged that 50 Cent has never let The Game live it down.
Jason danced there maybe twice, and 50 Cent will not let him.
In the documentary, Sababu shared that he had advised The Game to just own up to his past and not get too worked up about it being brought to light. Other rappers and figures in hip-hop have also called him out, further damaging his street cred. For instance, Kodak Black once joked during a live session that 50 Cent basically grabbed The Game off the pole and changed his entire life.
What? What'd he say?
What'd he say?
He said 50 grabbed that guy off the pole like I'ma change your whole life.
And of course, 50 Cent himself has brought this up multiple times, using G-Unit Radio to clown The Game for his rumored stripper past. Then there's the infamous butterfly tattoo. Back in the day, The Game decided to get a large butterfly inked on his face. Needless to say, the tattoo quickly became a source of ridicule, especially for someone trying to maintain a hardcore image. Eventually, he had it reworked into a star and the LA Dodgers logo, but even that move didn't stop the jokes. When asked why he changed it, The Game gave what many saw as a weak excuse, claiming that the tattoo artist didn't draw the butterfly right, so he decided to cover it up.
Why'd you decide to do the LA over the butterfly?
Cause I got it when I was in New York, but he ain't do it right, you know what I'm saying? And it ended up looking like moth.
Fans weren't buying it. Many said they would have respected him more if he had just kept it real, admitting that the butterfly tattoo might have had personal meaning at the time, but later realizing it sent the wrong message. Instead of owning up to it, his explanation came across as another attempt to dodge criticism. Next up is Rick Ross. 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been going at it for years, and their beef is still alive today. One of 50's favorite ways to troll was questioning Ross's sexuality, especially because of his connections with Diddy. Back in 2014, 50 posted 2 pictures on Instagram. One showed Steve Stout and Diddy both wearing pink shirts in a friendly embrace. The other was a shot of Diddy and Rick Ross from an angle that made it look like they were kissing. He captioned it, "I ain't saying nothing, but something ain't right, LMAO," before taking the post down shortly after. To make things worse, Ross has made some questionable comments in an interview, adding fuel to the rumors.
We got gay football players coming out. We got singers like Frank Ocean coming out. Is hip-hop ready for that?
I mean, I feel your personal life is your personal life. In my personal life, you know, you do whatever you do.
Ross fired back, calling 50 curly and trying to flip the accusations, but none of it really stuck. Unlike Ross though, 50 made it clear that he was going to wreck Ross's career just for fun.
I'm deciding to your life up. Rick, I'm gonna your life up for fun.
And from the outside looking in, everyone could see the writing on the wall. If 50 got his hands on some dirt, it was over. And unfortunately for Ross, he had a skeleton in his closet that was about to come crashing down. So where exactly did this whole Rick Ross was a cop narrative even come from? To break that down, we gotta rewind back to 2006, when a bombshell article titled "Screw Rick Ross" started making the rounds on the Smoking Gun website. The article dropped a bombshell, claiming that Rick Ross, real name William Leonard Roberts II, was actually a correctional officer before he even picked up a mic. One of the most damning pieces of evidence was a picture of a young Rick Ross, dressed in a full correctional officer uniform, proudly shaking hands as he graduated from the academy. The report went even further, stating that Ross worked as a CEO at the South Florida Reception Center in Dade County. For a rapper who had built his entire brand around being the biggest boss, a drug kingpin, and a certified street legend, this revelation was a PR disaster. Ross knew it too. At first, he outright denied everything. He went into full damage control mode, coming up with all kinds of explanations. One of the most bizarre ones was that hackers had photoshopped his face onto someone else's body, and that wasn't even the only problem. While people were still debating whether Rick Ross was a CEO or not, another issue started haunting him: his name. Now, it's not uncommon for rappers to take inspiration from real-life gangsters when coming up with their stage names. We've seen it before with guys like Nipsey Hussle, Yo Gotti, Bugsy Malone, and even Machine Gun Kelly. But here's where Ross messed up. He didn't just borrow the name Rick Ross, he took it straight from a real, still living, very much breathing ex-drug kingpin. And the real Rick Ross, aka Freeway Rick Ross, was not happy about it.
Ross used my whole name, you know, and he probably gained the most stardom out of everybody. You know, he raps about selling drugs.
Right.
And he never sold drugs. You know, he was a correctional officer.
And here's where things got even worse for Ross. If there's one thing you don't want to do in hip-hop, it's get into a beef with 50 Cent while having skeletons in your closet. Because 50 is like a shark who smells blood in the water. The moment Ross took that first shot at 50 with Mafia music, he unintentionally opened the floodgates for a world of pain. 50 went straight for the kill. He started with Officer Ricky, Go Ahead, Try Me, a diss track where he put Ross on blast for pretending to be a gangster when he was really a former law enforcement officer. Soon after the first diss track, 50 took things to a whole new level. He didn't just make fun of Ross in his songs, he commissioned an entire animated cartoon series called Officer Ricky, where he relentlessly mocked Ross for his correctional officer past.
Officer Ricky? Damn, Rick. Why you got me up in this man? Is it because I said you and your mama look like the Clumps? Well, y'all is or is it because I said your baby mama's a cold girl?
He made sure that every time people heard the name Rick Ross, they would immediately think of a badge, a uniform, and a CEO standing in a prison. And the worst part was that it worked. As much as Ross tried to laugh it off, the Officer Ricky nickname started to stick. As always with 50 Cent, it wasn't enough for him to just go after the main target. He had to drag everyone in their circle into the war. This was no different when it came to his beef with Rick Ross. And one of the key players who ended up helping 50 in his mission to tear Ross down was Tia Kemp, the mother of Rick Ross's firstborn son. 50 wasted no time linking up with Tia Kemp for a full tell-all video where she sat down and completely aired out Rick Ross's dirty laundry. In the video, she basically said everything about Ross was fake, from his tough guy persona to his so-called drug kingpin style. She even spilled tea on Ross's other baby mamas, further fueling the drama.
As you listen to his raps, you would definitely believe him, but I mean, it was surprising that he would sit there and say he spends $200 a month on food, his jewelry is rented.
Cause I go with these other $2 million worth of jewels on.
You know, possibly not real. His cars are being leased.
50, being the master troll that he is, saw an even bigger opportunity and announced that he would be publishing her tell-all book about her time with Ross. Luckily for Ross, that book never actually came out, but the damage had already been done. And to make matters worse, 50 took things to another level of disrespect when he took pictures with Rick Ross's son while out in Las Vegas with Tia Kemp and Floyd Mayweather. This was one of the lowest blows in the feud, and even though a lot of people felt like 50 was going too far, he never backed down from his stance. Whenever he was asked about it in interviews, he would always bring it back to one key point: Rick Ross was a fraud. At this point, the Officer Ricky nickname wasn't just something being thrown around in rap circles, it had made its way into mainstream culture. 50 wasn't the first person to discover Ross's law enforcement past, but he was the one who made sure the whole world knew about it. And beyond just exposing him, the real victory for 50 was that he forced Ross to finally admit the truth. Because without that constant pressure, Ross probably would have never owned up to it. For years, Ross dodged questions about his CEO past. Even when the proof was right in front of him, he tried to spin the story, deny it, or change the subject. But in 2014, something unexpected happened. On his track, Rich is Gangsta from the album Mastermind, Ross finally rapped, "That's why I had to play the part. That wasn't me, it was a job."
That's why I had to play my part. That wasn't me, it was a job.
For the first time in his career, Ross had finally admitted what 50 Cent had spent over 5 years trying to expose. And after that, in interviews, he eventually came clean about the whole thing. And then there's Young Buck. During his feud with 50 Cent, one of the things 50 clowned him for was his sexuality. For years, there were rumors about Buck's sexuality, and controversy seemed to follow him everywhere.
Young Buck is a LGBT member. Too many trans women have came out to out his.
No matter how much he tried to clear his name, it just never worked out in his favor.
Let me go on and address this real fast, real quick. Ain't shit gay about me. I ain't got a problem with no gay people. Whatever the you thought you seen on the tape, nigga.
Then came the scandal involving him and a transgender woman named Perfect, which only added to the drama. Rumors had been swirling that Buck was secretly involved with Perfect, and things escalated when an audio recording surfaced of a man, allegedly Buck, calling her and demanding she take down whatever she posted about their relationship and issue a statement to clear his name. Perfect later apologized for the audio leak, claiming her account had been hacked and she had no part in the recording getting out. She said, "First, I would like to start by apologizing to David, Buck, and his family, friends, and anyone who had been offended or hurt by the video that was recently posted on my page. Unfortunately, I haven't had access to my page for over a week." Young Buck went online to deny everything. In an interview, he admitted that he had been catfished once, but insisted that it ended there. He claimed he never had any relationship with a woman and felt he was set up, though he wasn't sure why he was targeted.
It's clearly a situation where they were using it to try to set me up for whatever reasons or whatever they was trying to do, because when I seen this shit, I could see
way the camera angles and shit was set up.
Buck's side of the story is that the trans situation didn't go down the way everyone thinks, and it's not the reason why 50 was going after him. According to Buck, the real issue was money. He found out that he was owed more money than he had been receiving, and when he confronted 50 about it, things took a turn for the worse. And these are just a few examples of people 50 has trolled. There are plenty more. At this point, people say it's safe to assume that ending up on 50's bad side can be a real mental headache because he never seems to get tired of going after his targets.